Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Metaworld News for the week ending the 15th of April of the grand old year 2018. This is news, of course, all about social virtual worlds. Also looking a little bit at virtuality and, well, basically interfacing with computers that help enable these worlds. Um, and let's see, it's going to be a fairly short news this week, I think, because I don't know whether it's spring or a hangover from the 1st of April, but things have tended to be a little bit quiet in terms of important news or whatever. Um, you can follow me online via my Twitter feed, which is twitter.com/Malburns, Malburns. And there's an additional feed, twitter.com/Metaworld News. That's in the title of this program. I do have a couple of things from my main feed I might as well mention. Voices of VR. In fact, I'm going to double check this one before I announce it. It is Voices of VR, but it may be the version that is replayed at Red VR. It doesn't seem to want to open. We'll go figure. Hello, Microsoft. Good to see you. Or not, as the case may be. Okay, basically, voicesofvr.com, podcast number 640, has a chap called John Root talking on virtuality Los Angeles, AR, privacy, esports, etc. I believe John Root was the founder of Virtuality Los Angeles, which, of course, is one of the very big meetups that it has an annual convention plus a monthly meetup, and it's always broadcast as well. So VR techies basically. Okay, 3 days ago, this Neos VR is to head into beta soon. Right, once again, I'm going to... Oh, well, thank you, Windows. You've opened it. That was very good of you. Right, Neos VR heads into beta soon. It's a metaverse engine to create multi-user VR worlds. Basically, the developer, whose name I cannot possibly pronounce, but his first name is a bit like Thomas. Thomas Fruixius Marianchik. Yeah, anyway, he's known for his work on early Oculus experience called Sightline, and he's just released word that their latest project, Neos VR, right around the corner and heading to beta soon. It's described as a metaverse engine, although you might think of it more as a multi-user platform that lets you build worlds and experiences in VR while collaborating with others in real time. And anyway, this post does actually have a little video in it, which, well, a freeform mass of floating stuff. It's the description of the example, but anyway, it does look rather interesting. Rudimentary, but basically, what sounds nice about this is I'm not sure where it would go, plug into web VR or whatever, or whether it simply be an engine that could be used for authoring other worlds. But I quite like the idea that it's not offering itself as a world, it's offering itself as a world creation engine. Anyway, let me see. I need to go back here to... Oh, I wish it wouldn't do this. It wouldn't do this. It keeps showing me my Twitter feed and not the actual link you need to go to. I have a feeling that that headed to via RSS. Anybody's guess. You will find that on my Twitter feed anyway. If you need the link to that, I'm sorry I can't give you a direct link right now. That seems to be beyond this machine's capabilities at the moment. Right, virtuality social network called VTime. VTime have been around for ages, and I keep forgetting they still exist. This is actually a post at uploadvr.com. VTime have raised $7.6 million US. and they're working on an AR version. Um, Rather odd this one because they are a V time is a bit like a VR chat type thing, and most of their investment that they're getting is actually for the launching of what they're calling an AR version. In other words, not necessarily a headset version or the stuff everybody else is doing, but they're going to take a VR social network and turn it, extend it into AR, which sounds rather interesting. Presumably, it'd be one of those sort of things where you'll have an overlay on your camera or your real-time view that is halfway into VR and presumably will allow you to go into VR if you want to. Anyway, find that more about that at uploadvr.com. And also at uploadvr.com in Hamilton has an article, how VR can get to hundreds of millions of headsets by the year 2024. Which is quite a long way ahead. I think you would tend to agree, wouldn't you? I think one of the general feelings here is that, the enterprise are picking it up for various things. Out of home experiences with VR are good. The gamers who are hardcore enough to want the stuff have already got it. And it's very, very unlikely that, there's going to be mass take up of great big helmet contraptions in the home any more than you would put one on to watch TV or 3D TV glasses, all the rest of it. But this is really just sort of a rational way of looking at what's going on about the tough trade-offs in design, the competing wireless solutions, the different technologies at work here. Getting industry-wide standard adoptions, which of course is the hardest thing for anybody to do, it seems to me. And, just the idea of taking PCs from 2D to 3D. Anyway, quite a thorough and long article there. So you'll find that at, where was it, uploadvr.com. That was a day or so ago now. And I think I'm at the end of it for this. Now, hi, James.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
Sunday,
just saying that. I was saying
your
that was
voice.
a short. That was a short bit of news. Sorry.
Oh, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, there's a lot of background noise came in with your voice there, but it's all settled down now, so we're fine, I think. Oh, dear. Trials and tribulations of this. Okay, there's been a lot more interesting talk now this week. What is it, about 2 weeks now since the Spielberg movie Ready Player One came out. And by all reports, there is no significant interest in virtual worlds of VR take-up as a result of that movie. And some of the analysts have actually come to a rather odd conclusion on this, and I must admit it does make sense. And that is that the movie is entertainment, obviously, is dealing with, virtual reality technology, but other movies have already done it. The end of the movie, and I haven't seen it myself, but apparently the end of the movie very firmly rests on the kind of what you might call a moral message of get back to reality. In other words, all this drama's been going on, and it's all good entertainment and all that, but when the prize is won and the company's taken over or whatever, the message seems to be to re-educate people in the real world and sort out the real world problems instead of the virtual reality ones.
Yeah,
So
I had the same reaction. I said to my kids, "Preachy much?" And ending was pretty overt. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. It is an odd thing, You go, it seems to be relevant and everything else, but basically people go to be entertained. They've seen their avatars. They've seen all sorts of other times with virtual worlds these days, and although virtuality is essentially part of the plot line of this, well, the book, obviously, and now the movie, um, it's a bit dystopian. And, if it had been something with the wonderful spirit of, I don't know, an early Spielberg thing like E.T. or something, where everybody, oh, yes, uplifting, you know, it might have been a different thing. But in the end, this movie does portray it as, it's like it portrays virtuality as a kind of almost a prison. Despite all the hijinks and action and entertainment that happens in it, especially pointing out what the reviews was particularly annoyed, and I can particularly understand this with their interest in education, is that in the book, the function of schools and education in virtuality was explored quite heavily, whereas in the movie, that aspect of it has been literally wiped out of the whole story. It barely referenced at all. Everything's about the adventure and finding the clues of popular culture and games and everything else like that. The fact that most of these people enter virtuality through classrooms in the story, in the book, is really played down in the movie, apparently. So at the end of the day, I mean, because coming at this from the outside, it certainly does, it looks like this is a very successful movie. But movie it is, entertainment it is, and hasn't necessarily had any obvious effect on people's perception of virtuality and what it could be, other than the romp that it is in the movie. So interesting thoughts all around there, I think. I'm moving on to Metaworld's feed right here, right now, if it needs to open. Thank you, Microsoft. You are so clever when you want to be, aren't you? Right. Strawberrysing.com. That's STRAWBERRYSINGH.com. She did last month an introduction to the high fidelity world. And she also went in with Drazda de Prey to do a little sort of tour, but neither of them knew exactly what they were doing. But as a result, they're going back tomorrow for a more formal session where they'll be meeting Philip Rosedale, who will be actually taking them round on a tour of high fidelity. And it will be broadcast, I presume. Apparently, a lot of their recent stuff is going out on 2 channels. StrawberrySing.com is streaming one stream, and Drax Files is streaming another stream. But both are the same event, if you see what I mean, and they interact together. Go figure. Lots of visible interfaces and everything else you can expect on this, but it could be a very interesting little tour. They haven't published an exact time. That may have been deliberate, because whether it's designed to be something where they can have people hanging on, or whether it be like a more closed type of tour, I don't know. But anyway, that's happening tomorrow. And Hamlet Tour at New World Notes, nwn.blogs.com. Social VR needs a new metaphor, utterly unlike Ready Player One's Oasis, which really just comes back to what I was just mentioning. I'm just going to open it quickly just to see. Unbelievable. Windows 10. Bring back Windows 3.1. That's all I can say. It used to be a bit quicker than this thing. Right. Yeah. Actually, Hamlet is actually more or less talking on the same theme as other people, and I was just saying nearly every aspect of the Oasis presented in the movie is meant to shore up its final thesis. The metaverse is actually dangerous, causing users to lose their connection with the real world. And literally, the closing line of the movie, the hero regulates Oasis so people can't use it as much as they used to, and they're forced to get back to reality more often. But self-defeating, isn't it? Okay, you can read more about that at New World Notes, which is just where are we? nwn.blogs.com. And finally, another up-and-coming world we're making on here, Science Space. Um, there are several different posts about this, but Ryan Schultz at ryanschultz.com, that's RyanSchultz.com, has a summary roundup of Science Space integrating the Archimatrix building tool. In fact, by the end of this month, there are actually two separate Unity authoring tools which will be integrated into, I understand, the world itself. The other one is Pro Builder, by the way. As one's called Pro Builder and one's called Archimatrix. These are actually tools that people are used to using in Unity, but they will be sort of available in the world itself as ways of building in worlds. So you'll be able to, the example video, for example, shows somebody importing a canopy and, like a marquee type tent, and pulling it into the world and putting over a swimming pool that's already there. And all this is done using the in-world tools, no Unity required kind of thing. So the prospects for actually, manipulating your space inside the environment will bring it a lot closer to worlds like OpenSim, where we broadcast this program from, for example. Whether hopefully long term this will allow for much more user activity in World 2, for example, being able to not only create Prim-like objects and import things and manipulate them, but maybe do things like scripting of HUDs or particular things you want to do using live the in-world environment and seeing what's happening while you're doing it. Now, also tying in with all this is, let's see, that actually is it for, oh, hang on. Some of all this is coming upside down. Right, don't you love it when feeds don't? It's meant to show the latest first, and it shows... Okay, I posted them earlier today. blog.kokuaviewer.org. That's KOKUAVIEWER. The Kokua Viewer is an open source, what they call third-party viewer for Second Life and up to recently OpenSim. They have actually posted, it's really just an internal type of update blog, letting people know what's going on today, the path forward, the future, Nikki Perrin, etc. Now, this is basically the main person behind the Kokua View. I mean, I think he's getting on for about 75 years old and really is trying to phase himself out a lot of the work involved. But the actual team behind Kokua are, planning ahead. There are actually two versions. One is what's called a RLV implementation, and the other is an ordinary kind of Linden Lab, Second Life type implementation. But what they have, one of the reasons this is actually quite important is what they do make clear in this blog post is that they have totally discontinued the Open Simulator version. Now, there was some fuss about this some while back. There was I guess an organization of some sort in OpenSim who claimed to have taken it over, developing it, and there's a bit of furore about that. Basically, the Kokua View people, I gather you can get their code from, download their code if you want it, but they're basically saying no OpenSim development until, or if, somebody from OpenSim comes on board with their team and can take over that strand of the viewer. So the implication there is it's not up to somebody in OpenSim to just take the code and run with it. It's actually up to somebody from OpenSim to join Kokua's team and take over the strand that will be the OpenSim viewer if it's going to be revived and maintained. So Jay, you
Oh
have a
no,
comment,
no,
James.
just that's quite a piece of news. Yeah.
It is that was literally just this morning. I mean, it doesn't seem like major news, but it is important that that decision has been taken, and it rather puts paid to the suggestions that the code was open source and anybody could run
Right,
with it.
right.
It does contain proprietary code, and they're happy to have an open sim version, but they want whoever does it to be on board with their team, not out there in the wild, so
Mm-hmm.
to speak. So, yes, very interesting. Right, Endgame talk show in VR chat. Right, this is. I haven't actually been to this. I have to be honest. But on Wednesday, the 4th of April, they had their 1 year anniversary of a popular talk show called Endgame. It happens in VR chat, and I have started picking up various posts from them. They also have a Discord channel. It's actually the people who run Endgame have a Discord channel, and they call it Deep Thoughts. And I'm actually finding it very interesting. It's not. I'm not particularly interested in VR chats. The aesthetic is not quite my cup of tea, should we say? Um, but some very interesting discussion. This Endgame program, despite not really being my cup of tea to look at, does actually get into some quite serious areas of discussion. Everything from technology to the singularity, through to futurism, and well, just a whole load of sort of serious topics. And in fact, their Discord channel is very much an extension of those topics. So you can see these posts coming out discussing various topics, and some of them will ultimately end up being discussed on the TV show in VR chat as well. So quite interesting stuff there. If you like our show in World Review and stuff, it may be, if you can get over the avatar appearances, then it may be something that you might care to check out, I guess. Um, Right. Good one there. I think, yeah, that seems to be about it. Yep, that is it. That is it for my main stuff. Now, in the interim, in fact, I'll put Flipboard away so it's not annoying me. I think we did come across something else I went to today, probably on the other machine here. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, here we are. It's a website called Somnium Space. I will read that out to you. It's SOMNIUMSPACE.com. Now, this has got a very slick interface when you open it up, and you can download a VR client to actually look at this world. You can also download a desktop client for Windows, which I have loaded up. There doesn't seem to be a great deal you can do there yet, and one of the things you can't do is actually get out of it. The escape button doesn't work. You have to go to your system and kill the process. Bit annoying, but it is a beta. You can download the beta. This is described as a world beyond reality and a whole new world shaped by players. This really fits our remit here, as it were, with social virtual worlds. Back in the old days, you may remember that Second Life's platform, although a corporate platform, advertised itself as, your world, your imagination. But our property. Sorry, no, they didn't do that bit, did they? Anyway, the idea is everything is user created, and the whole way the thing looks and is built and evolves is down to the actual users. And this seems to be another world that is working on that idea. And the platform itself, I notice, has been built with Unity, which brings it on a par with things like Science Base, and actually even VR Chat is built in Unity. there are lots of worlds built in Unity that don't actually really look much like each other. Although I have to say that this one actually has kind of commonalities with science base and stuff. And I also noticed, and I can't speak with any authority about this because all I saw was a note in a basic post, but a lot of criticism for Sansar, the new world of experiences, as it were, from Linden Labs, was to do with, the fact that instead of going with a common game engine like Unity or Unreal or something, they insisted on building their own. But I have actually been noticing quite a few posts recently which are actually describing to people how to get content from Unity into Sansar, which I find rather interesting. It's almost as if there may be things people are trying to do that they can't do with Sansar's own tools, and they're being allowed to import from Unity if necessary. So, interesting little anecdote there. But don't quote me on any of that. Just the gossip in the feeds, so to speak. Right, I think I've covered just about everything. Once again this week, we will not be broadcasting In World Review. We may be changing the schedule of In World Review. I can't tell you for sure yet. It's really a matter of optimizing our method of getting guests in and making sure we've got decent guests rather than just replacing, rehashing the same old thing every week. So we are actually working on a few different things at the moment, and being springtime and all that, it's probably the right time to be working on changes. It's the rebirth period, isn't it? It's called spring. Yeah, so we're doing a springy thing called a rebirth, sort of. Yeah, that works. Can't explain anything else because we don't know what the hell we're doing actually, but we're doing it. So quite a lot is afoot at the moment. So whatever else happens, we will be back here with Metaworld News, more or less same time, same place next week. Or in fact, I think next week our plan is to bring this show to you on Saturday. So if you're looking out for your YouTube alerts, keep your eyes peeled because we'll probably do it on Saturday. Next week only, as far as I know. So that's it from me and from James here. In other words, it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from him.
Yeah, but him is me, so in fact I mean it.
It's a bit. It's funny.
I know. How do we do it again?
I think that works.
The two Ronnies be damned. We can't manage it. How far we try. Okay. So have a good week, folks, and we'll see you next week. Bye.